till you get yoked with me to want to now say, okay, I'm ready to do my work because I got somebody beside me. No, I didn't do that to you. So don't wait till you get here, because how do I know you're gonna really do it?
Right.
You may just half-ass it because for the sake of tagging me along. And you know, you might do a little something now, and then you get complacent and you fall back, and here I am, like a year in, 2 years in, 3 years in.
Yeah.
She's still, or they still making, you know, if I say something, okay, you tighten up for a little while, then you go back. But all the while, I'm 1, 2, 3 years in. I've done my work, but now you tagging me along. Now, if you already in a relationship, you already married.
Hold on. You gotta be married, just in a relationship for a while, right?
Well, you already in a relationship for a while. Okay, you've been in a relationship for a while now. You got to understand this. When you got into a relationship, you had to learn how to cohabitate with one another. We both came into this thing with our own stuff. But even in the midst of that, let's say you on a path or a journey to become a better version of yourself. But you don't see that same drive and motivation and pursuit for it with them as you are. Still, you got the same choice. You either can walk alongside them or you can walk away. It's the same choice.
Right.
So now go back to what you said, Married, about risk, or a chap about risk. Am I willing to take the risk in walking away, or am I willing to take the risk in staying, hoping that they're going to invest the time and the work and the work ethic to become a better version of themselves? That's the challenge that most people that's in relationship that are kind of one-sided now are facing. That risk of walking away or the risk of staying, hoping that things are going to get better.
So,
yeah.
So one thing I want to say real quick now.
Come on.
We just talked about dying on the inside, right? You know, and trying to grow and all these things. But now we always talking about we supposed to be sacrificial. That's the first thing. That's the first thing that we talk about. Talking about Christ, so loved the world that he gave his the life for it.
Come on with it.
You know what I'm saying? And their husbands or significant others is supposed to do the same for the people that they're linked with. So how long am I supposed to sacrifice in this context? How long am I supposed to sacrifice myself and die to myself while I'm dying? I'm not just literally dying when we talk about dying to myself, doing what I want to do, dying to myself and becoming who I need to become and being fully who I am. You understand?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I understand.
But you telling me, you know what I'm saying, that I'm supposed to sacrifice it all the way to death? Come on now. And then now I become unequally yoked. Come on now.
Yeah.
And so I'm coming to you, sharing my heart to you in love. Letting you know that you have my heart. And I want to share with you my life, my struggles, for you to cover me. Not for you to be upset and be triggered, but for you to cover me and understand that I'm out here struggling. Instead of you getting mad about
it. It's not easily done, but two things here. The value of progress has to be greater than your value of maintaining. It has to be greater. And that's it. The value of progress has to be more valuable to that person than the value of just maintaining, just existing. I was in my garage a couple nights ago, and God spoke to me about below average grades. and in short, the lesson was about knowing that you're smarter and you're better, and you're failing at things that you know you're good at. You know, and one of those things should be life, because he said, what? I came that you would have life, and life more abundantly, not just in one facet of life, but in every facet of life. There should be abundance. We are built to thrive. And so our desire to thrive, it has to become greater than our value of just maintaining. And what I found is that when you choose to thrive over maintaining, they're either going to come with you because they see you're serious right now, and not just, oh, just he just being who he is. Once you show them that, oh, this Negro is serious, right? They only have two options. I'm gonna either grow and go, I'm gonna stay and play. Those are the only options. But to your question, your value of progress has to be greater than your value of just keeping a whole pattern in life. Because for a year passed, another year passed, and you're still in a whole pattern. Go ahead.
So now I'm just interjecting a little bit as you go, because I know your situation. So you maintain for a minute to the point to where you was dying and other things transpired. I think we might end up talking about that another way, but another time in depth. But certain other which caused other things to happen in reference to you. But when you made the decision, I got to cut this off. That was one of the hardest decisions you made, bro. You were going through it. You were trying to hold on to that thing, bro.
Absolutely.
You were trying to do it, man, because you were struggling, because you knew what God said. You were struggling like, God, like, come on now, come on. But when you made that decision, now think about the maintaining and dying.
Yeah.
When you made that decision, bro, you lost something. Your daughter, which was closest to you, bro. You lost. You didn't only just lose the spouse that you had or your significant other. It was the other person that was connected to him that was dear to your heart, bro. That you not was sacrificed, that was impacted as well. That relationship was severed. Yeah.
Right. I'm waiting on the question. I don't know what you're asking.
What I'm saying, you talked about you got to make a decision.
Yeah.
But now you can understand why some people still maintain and still die within themselves because they want.
So I had no regrets. I said that in the beginning of it. I had no regrets because I know what I brought to the table. I know the work I put in, and I understood my value, and my patience and my love is what kept me there. I was never in a rush to leave. It was never a desire to leave. But again, I'm built with needs, right? We are built by design. God designed us to be this way. And so your needs need to be met or they're going to override your life. That's just life. And I stayed in that because my hope was like, there will be change. But my need exceeded my hope. And I knew, like, this is going to be too overwhelming. I didn't lose my daughter. I had to love her in a different position of my life. I didn't lose her. Did it hurt? Absolutely. You know, when you divorce somebody that you've been with for a long time, it's like a spiritual funeral. You mourn for that person, you know, because you've been with that person for a long time. But it wasn't, I understood my tolerance level. It like, you know, it ran over. And so I reached a point where I understood that, you know, I'm dying inside of this thing. And when you have that realization, that's why when you have people in domestic violence situations, all you can do is suggest that they get out. But until they take it to that point to where they had enough, there won't be any change. And so when you talk about, you know, things like this and toxicity, it's like a spiritual domestic violence. And you understand, or an emotional domestic violence, you understand that it's only until I get enough of this that I'm out. And you understand the kids, because, you know, y'all know me and my daughter, I'm very close. I was very close. And I understood the risk of what it took. But I also understood that I was losing myself in the process.
I want to key in on something she said, man, that I think is critical, bro, for a lot of people that's in this position. He said, as it relates to his daughter, he said, I didn't lose. I just had to love her from a different position.
Yeah.
I want you to think about that for a minute. Think about that. For those of you guys who are in relationships, whether it's a you living with your baby mama, your baby daddy, and you're having issues, or you're married and you're having issues, or you're dating someone. Listen, sometimes when people refuse to get the help that they need, refuse to do the work that's required to become a better version of themselves, in order for you to maintain your own sanity, peace, joy, all of those things that it takes to keep you going. Sometimes you got to learn how to love people from a different position. Yes, it's gonna hurt. It's gonna cause pain. That's part of the process. But at the end of the day, you don't lose yourself. Because of what they refuse to do. You just got to learn how to love from a different position. I like that, Cheese. I like that. And I think that's gonna help some folks right there, man.
Yes, sir.
So all right, we got 20 minutes. So check this out. Kurt, you gonna be the first on this. All right, so we're gonna go back because you was about to tell us about it. So the lack of having a safe space and what that did to you. You was kind of going in that direction. So do you go ahead?
Yeah, so early on, you know, this is something that you learn, man. You got to grow and mature and develop, man, and all kinds of stuff. And we got married very young. So I had a lot of, I wasn't, see, here's how it gets tricky. I wasn't cheating. I didn't step out on my wife physically or intimately, relationally. But I entertained women in the sense that I had women that I could talk to about things that caused tension with my wife, and I'm gonna try to talk to her about it. When you talk about safe spaces, I couldn't talk to her about certain things, but there were women that I could talk to who understood, who could relate to what I'm saying, who could appreciate what I'm saying, could handle what I'm saying, and so there'll always be that, because the enemy will put those people in your place, you know. So I always had that around, and it made me feel good because, like you say, you got to get that stuff out. You gotta release those things. You gotta be able to get it out. But in doing so, now 180, that created tension, you know, with mama. Because why you ain't talking to me? Why you don't tell? Well, see how you responding? That's why. You see, that's why I ain't talking to you. Right there. You know, so it had to be some growth and maturity, man, and understanding, and even spiritual and emotional intelligence. Use that word again. So that didn't come overnight. And so you talk about the risk and the sacrifices that you got to make. You know, and thank God I did stay to see this thing through to the end, and I didn't leave. So to answer your question, Markeith, about, you know, how long, that was a constant battle between God and I. But one of the reasons why I stayed is because I knew that I was spiritually immature, emotionally immature, and a lot of other immaturities I had, and things I was trying to get rid of and shake off myself. So, you know, it was a two-way street in that regard. So it's kind of like we both stayed because we both had every right to roll out. You know what I'm saying? But thank God we did. But I think
you didn't. The key thing is you didn't just choose to stay and maintain. You chose to grow and to be
no doubt.
So
and to
open.
To, you know what I'm saying? To be becoming what needed. That's big difference.
You had to pay the price. You had to pay the price.
Hey, you want to stay and she want to stay if she didn't see any you trying, because that's one of the big things with women.
And vice versa.
They're gonna stay for a minute. You
So
know what I'm saying? I see you trying to get there. You know what I'm saying?
Man, this is good. So, if I may interject right here.
But
beginning of the month we were in New Orleans, and God got to this parking spot, and we pulled in and we paid for the parking. Right beside me was a car with a boot on it. And the Holy Spirit spoke to me and said they're illegally parked. I didn't understand it then, but I understand now. That, Chief, to what you were saying, that when you had women you could talk to and be vulnerable with, you were illegally parked, right?
God, dog, man, come on.
We can hear you, Chief. Keep talking.
I can't hear.
Oh, I can't either. Oh, slew foot joker.
Golly.
Hey,
So
Chief, if you can hear us, dial back in, bro, because we lost you.
Yeah. So, man, check it, bro.
But you got to look for him on the thing, Marquis.
Yeah, I see it when it pop up. So, bro, look, I'm gonna just share real quick, man. So this bothers me because I seen this. Like, you know, I've always been transparent.
Yeah.
You know, I've always like I've got to the point to where you know what I'm saying, I try to create a safe space for everyone. You know what I'm saying? Not necessarily my significant other, or you know what I'm saying. That's in every aspect of my life.
And so I got cut off, fellas.
There you go.
Go ahead.
So what I was saying was, when you're trying to create a safe space, let's connect this. People are gonna tell you of the opposite sex what you want to hear inside of your relationship. The danger and the threat to that is that it draws you away from what you're trying to fix, from the very thing you're trying to fix. So you're illegally parked. And even though I'm in a space where everybody else is, and they're parked here, I'm breaking the law of relationship. You know, now me talking to my sister, my biological sister, is one thing, right? But me talking to a woman who I know that there's a peculiar interest there, or a man who I know there's a peculiar interest there, you know, you're illegally parked in those spaces. And when you talk about creating, they say space. When I tell you I had no regrets, I you know, because I did not. I understood, like, I'm giving it all I have. But a lot of times we illegally park ourselves, and when it's time for us to move, we find that we have a boot, right? Because we shouldn't have been there in the first place. So it creates more chaos. So how can I be truthful to you when I found out, when you found out that you've been talking to him, or you found out that you've been talking to her? It's hard to do that when you have all these outside distractions infiltrating, you know, what you're trying to build. And I know I've been there before, you know, as a man, I can relate. I've been there because we need somebody to talk to so we can feel okay with. But when it's all said and done, when it all comes up, we find ourselves, oh man, because the question is, how could they give them more than what I gave, right? And what does that look like to the other person? And so we have to be careful. If we really want this thing to work and grow, we have to be careful how we share and how we respond to people of the opposite sex when we're trying to build something that we think is worth building.
Right. So
that's good. That's good.
So one thing that's on me, how much time we got? We got like 12 minutes. So one thing that's really on me, bro, is I'm really transparent.
Yeah.
I try to be vulnerable, right?
Yeah.
And honest. And so I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna tell you what me and my son had a conversation about, him and his female friend.
Okay.
So the situation happened to where, you know, both of them are athletes. He go to practice early in the morning, go to school, then have to come home, do homework, then have to do it all over again the next day. She does the same thing, but so they was on the phone, but she was what's the word? She was distracted by something, and he's just like, hey, listen, okay, I'll call. So this where I'm going. He like, listen, okay, I'll call you later on. I'm about to go shower and do XYZ. If you want to talk to me, just let me know, and and we'll talk later on. No big issue. Now, when it's flipped around, and it's the other way around, she got a problem with it. So what in that regard, y'all get what I'm saying, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, and then so later on, she end up calling him. He falls asleep, wakes up and see that he missed the call and try to hit her back. She in her feelings all day, all the way to the next morning. So I'm like, so what's going on? Like, are y'all gonna talk? Did you apologize? And he was like, I apologized to her, even though, you know what I'm saying, I didn't do anything wrong. I just apologized to her. And so that was that situation. He was like, I know I didn't do anything wrong. I just mistakenly fell asleep. He's like, she do it all the time. And it ain't no big deal for me. But she acting the donkey when it happens, you know what I'm saying, when it happened to me and it's flipped around. Right. Another situation happened to where I heard on TikTok, or where I see some things on TikTok when we talk about, okay, for instance, when a man does certain things for a woman, or he responds a certain way for a woman, the woman it's flipped, it's opposite, it's flipped opposite. The woman responds differently, doesn't give him the same grace that he gives her. For me, I don't understand why is it such a big deal if we can't be gracious with one another. When the same thing, when it happens to you, I'm okay with it, and I'm giving you this grace, and I'm showing you love through it, even though I don't agree with it and I don't like it. But when it's flipped on my side, I gotta catch hell about it. So to me, that is not a safe space, and I'm constantly having to die to myself and apologize for you for something that, you know what I'm saying, that I'm really not sorry about, that I may not could have helped at the time, but just to appease you. Am I rambling? Or do you guys
tracking? I think we're tracking. Yeah.
Saying again, I try to create a safe space. I want to be honest with everything. I want to be clear. I want everything to be clearly communicated. If it's anything missed and you fail to tell me something or to show me something, you know, you don't get mad at me. Can y'all see me?
Yeah.
Don't get upset with me because you failed to communicate it to me.
Right.
I have no understanding or knowledge of what it really is.
Yeah.
So I'm responding off the information you gave me.
Right.
So why am I catching hell and got to apologize to you when I'm trying to identify to you, hey, hold on, wait. Now, if you would have added this information, then I would have understood you better.
Yeah.
Or if you would have fully took time and not be in your emotions, or circle back, even if you was in your emotions, and then give me the full breakdown or communicate it to me clearly, and then you start to talk to me in reference to it, don't get upset with me and pissed off at me because I'm just trying to say, well, okay, I didn't understand what you said, but if you would have said it this way, now and then you get cut off and flip it and get upset with me.
Yeah.
Because as if I'm the issue, when all I'm doing is trying to clarify and let you know what my intention was and that I love you, and you know what I'm saying? It ain't really a deal. If I would have knew better, I would have done better.
Right.
So I don't know if I'm rambling, bro, but I'm just trying to.
You want to get in? Or
you see what I'm saying? So creating a safe space.
You know, I get it, and there's a lot there. I'm just, Chief, you want to get in on this, and man, this is there's a lot.
Y'all see
that's layers of stuff right there.
Yeah, huh? Yeah.
What?
That's layers of stuff. Man, I don't even know where to start really, but
like, what do you do with that? Like, I mean,
I think the first thing is one, you have to understand your partner. You got to know who they are, know how they function, how they operate. Naturally, women are emotional than we're physical. So you give us a problem, you give us we trying to find an answer. That's our first instinct is all right, find a solution for that problem. Their first instinct is to be in their feelings. So I know that about them. So now I've got to ensure that I preposition my response accordingly. Because I want to try to minimize that as much as possible. Because I already know that's your instinct causes you to respond that way. So I got to deal with that. I can't perpetuate that. I got to try to de-conflict.
Yeah.
In that situation. So that's first thing. Then with oh, you talk about the son and everything else. So what I would like to know what you tell him in that situation, how to handle that situation.
Yeah.
When he apologized, I actually started cause where I am right now, I'm at a place where, cause that's what I would normally do. But I'm at a place where now I'm sorry for what? I ain't finna apologize for nothing. I ain't trying to explain. I'm apologizing to you for when I'm always apologizing to you when it comes to this, even when I ain't did nothing wrong. And all I'm doing is trying to let's walk through it. You know me, I want to walk line by line, precept upon precept of what the communication went wrong at. And then when I try to point out and I say, oh, okay, so this wasn't communicated to me. You know what I'm saying? Well, you right. It wasn't communicated to you, but XYZ. Now you just said but XYZ. And then when you said but, you misspoke. And then I'll come back and let you know that ain't necessarily exactly right, because I got receipts saying that, this done happened before, but you saying that it ain't. I'm not arguing with you about it. We just going line upon line, precept upon precept, so we can get this understanding of what's going on. I'm clueless about what you really said that you would communicate to me. And as we walk through it, she realized that, you know what? I can see how you have that could have been XYZ. And then you go on to try to not get more information, but to let her know, okay, this is where I am, and if you would have did XYZ, now everything blows up.
Nah, you should have told your son.
Now, with that, when I told my son, see, I don't want all out because I'm in.
You sure did.
So what I told my son, I was like, son, you know what, you did the right thing. And get what he said, because he get this up for me. He was like, Dad, whether I was right or wrong, I'm just apologize because I just want to keep the peace. And I was like, son, you know what, you right. That's what you supposed to do. But he in the beginning of this thing. So I get it. But after years and years of keeping the peace and constantly bound down like that, wait, hold up. You ain't finna keep, what you not finna do, you not finna keep getting upset with me and putting it all on me. And you know what I'm saying? I'm not pointing the finger or anything like that. I'm just trying to communicate why I responded the way I responded. Because my response wasn't the way the individual wanted me to respond, and that was based upon misinformation and not understanding.
Yeah. So there's a difference. So I as men, we have to learn crazy and what's cute.
What?
Right? We have to learn what's crazy and we have to learn what's cute. That whole scenario, your son is cute.
Right.
But to him, it looks crazy. Fact of the matter is, she cares so much about him that I wanted to hear from you tonight. It didn't come off that way. The optics doesn't present that.
Right.
But if we don't look into the thing, then we'll just see crazy. We won't see cute. We won't see they love me or they care. It's hard to see it when I'm being interrogated as to why you didn't call me. It's our responsibility to take that question and be like, man, I'm not going to escalate. She's doing this because she loves me, or he's doing it because he loves me. And we have to respond understanding why they did it and not how they did it.
Right.
That's the challenge. We have to respond understanding why they did it, Right. And that how you can scream you love somebody and they'll never believe you because of how you did it. Right. But if we change how, if I know you're in this place and you're saying this because this reason. So because I know that, it goes to why you tripping to I know you love me and that's why this is happening. And and I get it. And so I'm just grateful that you love me the way you do that. You actually, brought this up. We have to change our response. We have to help them come out of, and I use crazy very loosely. I don't want to offend nobody, but we have to help people come out of those places so they can actually understand how they are and why they are the way they are, right? Because you can be shopping, you can be hanging with the fellas, right? You don't expect your wife to say, where you at and how long you gonna be there? You don't expect that anymore, right? What you expect is, hey baby, I'm checking on you. Now all of us can say that there was a time where the text message didn't say that.
Ooh-wee.
Right? So we have to know like what's crazy and what's cute. And a lot of times we have to help people come out of those places with how we respond back to them. We have to help them change how they check on us.
Yeah. That's why the first thing I said was you got to know your spouse, or know your audience, know who you're dealing with, and how when you know them, then you adjust your response accordingly, as to keep the situation deflected. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I think that's a big part of it, bro.
But my thing is, sometimes you can get so emotional, even though sometimes the individual can be so emotional that they don't hear anything that you're saying, and that's my issue.
Doesn't matter if they don't hear you.
That ain't got to do with how you respond.
Doesn't matter if they don't hear you. What matters is you're intentional enough to understand where they're coming from, whatever place that is, and you respond the right way. It's up to them to do something different after that point. But as long as you see where they are and you don't lose yourself, you don't come off of your square, these people, they're only going to respond one or two ways. There are no other options. And so it doesn't matter what they do with the information.
Because I just got shut down and didn't want to be talked to no more. And
that's okay.
All I'm doing is trying to, I get it. I understand. You know what I'm saying? I get it. I understand. However, that wasn't communicated to me. But that's why, I mean, you're saying, but that's not entirely true. And all I want to do is X, Y, Z, and this why I responded this way, X, Y, Z.
Yeah, there's so much in that, man. I mean, when you are with people, you can identify what's resentment and what's really because I care. And they sometimes they can sound the same, but when you find yourself always at that place of contention, 9 out of 10, that's resentment more than concern, right? But when you introduce a conversation or an explanation and people are actually yielded to what you're saying, you can tell that's out of concern. So you have to see the signals. You have to understand they're responding this way, so that's concern. Or if they're still crazy after I'm giving them my answer, then that's resentment. And when you are with someone and you have a history and a past, those two things can happen at the same time. I love them, but I hate them. Those two things can happen at the same time. And when somebody has a resentment towards you, they're going to answer you about why dishes in the sink, right? That's going to be a thing. Or they're going to be like, they were tired, so they didn't wash the dishes tonight. That's concern. And they're two different spaces. And it happens all the time. Our responsibility is to understand where those places are coming from. Because if it's resentment, we should address resentment. We should not keep coming from a place of concern when somebody is really coming from a place of resentment, if I'm making sense. Like if all you're giving me is resentment, why am I still showing you concern? We need to go put it on pause. Hey, you're talking like you resent me or something. We need to talk about that. Like what happened? So it's two different things, because we look at it like, let me maintain the peace because that's what men want to do, right? But if we're not careful in those situations, it builds and builds and builds, and you resent a person or a person resents you because you never stop to address, is this coming from a place of concern or did something happen that makes you resent me like this? And it's two different things.
Hey, listen, I'm still stuck over here like what happened?
Yeah.
I'm stuck over here like And then but I have to be at peace because I'm like, man, I mean, what else I'm supposed to do? Like, I didn't know. You know what I'm saying? If I really knew, my response would have been different, and I would have did. You know, I don't know, man.
Yeah, I think.
And sometimes, man, you have to wait until they're in a better place mentally and emotionally, and then go back and readdress the situation. I can't tell you how many times my wife and I have had heated fellowship, and it got so heated to where I knew continuing the conversation was going to get us anywhere but further down that rabbit hole. So I just pull up, or she would pull up when it was me on the other end, and or you know, it had got so out of hand to where, you know, she responded inappropriately, or I responded inappropriately. But after we came down, I went back, or she came back and said, "Hey, babe, you know what? When we had that discussion, you know, my response was totally out of order, out of place. You know what I'm saying? I sincerely apologize for responding that way. I was blah, blah, blah. I was in this headspace, or I was thinking this, or blah, blah, blah. And we fixed it. But what I'm noticing now that we're older, is I don't let things fester nowhere near as long as I used to. But I'm talking about same day, same hour, same, you know what I'm saying? Time with space. I'm like, hey, babe, no, we gotta fix this. Hey, that response was totally out of character. I don't know what I was thinking, but babe, I apologize because no, ma'am, no, ma'am. Or she does the same thing. So where it used to be, you know, days, no conversation. I mean, we've never, in 25 years of being married, we never slept in a different room or in a different bed. Never. But we have went to bed many nights without talking to one another and being mad at each other. So never do that again. Them days over with.
Right.
No, sir.
Hey, so I mean, I'm the type of person, when I'm wrong, and y'all know this, when I'm wrong, I'm gonna accept it. I'm gonna accept accountability for it when I'm wrong, period. If I done said something out of line and didn't realize it at the time, if I'm wrong or if I reacted in a way, I'm gonna apologize for that. I'm gonna hold myself accountable for that.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So and I think also, you know, never mind. It's we over an hour right now, so we gotta we still 7 people on. So apparently, you know, the conversation is needed, I guess. Cause we still got 7 people viewing.
Yeah, I was responding to some folks in the chat, man. A few comments.
Yeah, what we got?
I can't post them, but I can at least tell you what they said. So from the beginning of the conversation, somebody responded about many church folks are a certain way in church, acting totally different, but yet in public, some like the direct opposite. So of course we addressed that. And then one of our regulars, Miss Jerry, she said that I have to agree with you. It takes hearing this from men for it to really make sense and hit different. Thank you, gentlemen. And that's when I think Coach Chiefs was going in, explaining that, you know, his analogies are always on point.
They be on it, boy. Spot on, for real.
And then my mama came on. She said, love your response. Understanding is mellow. So yeah, man, had 8 viewers tonight total when we were in conversation. So really appreciate all you guys who tuned in. Please share the video, man. So those who you know who are in situations like many of the things we discussed tonight. Happy to hear your feedback, even if it's after the fact, or you go back and watch it or share it with somebody else. Tell them to leave some feedback. Let us know what they think about the show and what topics they would like us to cover or talk more about or want to go in more depth on. So we appreciate you guys tuning in. This show wouldn't be a show without you guys, so we definitely appreciate you.
We thank God for you. We do. You sure?
Oh.
Yes, sir. That's it. Oh yeah, yes, sir. There he is. There he is. And don't you cut a hair off of it. Don't you cut a hair off of it. That's right. Let it grow. Don't you cut it. Don't you put no razor on that boy head. You talking about Samson.
Hey, who gonna pray us out, man?
Yeah, man, I will.
Okay.
Father, we thank you for this evening, for this time, God, for this opportunity to share. We thank you for the ones who tuned in. God, I pray that something we said, God, would be beneficial, so they could take back and use in their own relationship, their own lives, oh God, to become better fathers, wives, parents, dads, brothers, and even friends, God. We just thank you for this time of fellowship, for this time of learning and wisdom. And God, we just pray that until we meet again, that you go with us, be with us, protect us and our families. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Hey,
Amen.
man, you know what? Before I end this live, I realized through your prayer that I'm hurt by the situation.
Say again?
I'm hurt by that situation.
I know. It came out.
I'm hurt.
Yeah. It kind of
That was very clear.
like the entire
I'm all that. I'm angry.
Yeah, that was very clear.
Yeah.
I'll pray for your boy. Peace.
Yeah. Hey man, I'm here. Let's talk.
Yeah, go on.